Hi, this is Tweek. I was doing dishes thinking about how can I keep the sparkle in my decor, and I thought, I've got a copper scrubby, and there are certainly snowflakes out there, so let's decorate some candles. Join us. Supplies for this project are: you'll need a candle of your choice. I used from 3 to 9-inch pillar candles. You'll need assorted charms and jewelry. I'm using bracelet findings. You will need Stretch Magic jewelry and beading cord, a pair of scissors, maybe a pliers, and perhaps your glue gun, depending on how you're going to decorate your candle. Most importantly, some Scotch-Brite copper scrubbies. So let's get started. Before I start today's project, a shout out to Diana, who won our very first Tweeks with Tweek giveaway. A pillow and blanket, all fleece, will be headed your way, Diana, and thanks for entering. Every month we're going to do a giveaway of some sort, so stay tuned for that. So I got this idea. I'm going to decorate some candles with these copper scrubbies. Now the scrubbies come in a pack of 3. Here's the way I found them. And you can get this pack for about $1.50, a little less. The thing is, this is a fabric that's covered in copper. It's great for scrubbing dishes, not good for flame. So if we're going to decorate a candle, if we decorate one that's a real wax candle, it's for looks only. Do not want to light it, but that does look pretty. Very seasonal for the holiday coming up. So I want to work with the LED candles. I had several to choose from, and here's one here on. Very pretty. I wanted to decorate it and use it in our set. So we'll start by taking the scrubby, and if you look at it, it's got this donut shape, and one side has a very defined hole in it, like a donut hole. And the other side is where they roll it up and they stuff all the extra fabric into the back. So as you pull this out, just manipulate it gently. This scrubby really does all the decorating work for you once you get it undone. And so here's what you've got. You still have that defined donut hole, and you've got all this excess in the back. Okay. And as I will flip this over, it reminds me of a jellyfish. Isn't that kind of cool? You still have the defined donut hole, and then you have this on the top. And if you pull a little farther, there's a little seam. Now as they run this through and start rolling it up, I think, well, they put a seam there that holds this together. I want to keep that seam intact and then use that for the center where my wick is going to go. So we're going to take our candle, be careful of the flame, I don't want to break it, and set this down over the candle and start rolling, but don't roll too far because I want to get that flame through that little space. See how that's going to work? And before I do that, I must do one more thing here. I'm going to just cut above that seam to get rid of some of this excess. Little shards of fabric will go hither and yon, but it almost looks like the top of a package, a gift package. And now I'm going to work it down. Let me pull it back up a little bit. Work it down so that little flame comes out. Okay. And then just roll it down on the rest of the candle. Okay, now that stays rolled there. I like that. You could keep pulling it down, but I like the look of it being rolled at the bottom. This here is still pretty springy coming up. And since we're not going to burn this, since it's an LED candle, I can go ahead and add some hot glue and let the copper rest around that wick. So very carefully, you see there's a little spot there. If you snip beneath that, you'll get the whole thing will fall apart and it'll just wind down on itself. So I want to keep that seam there and very gently and carefully go in with my glue gun and just add a few little spots. I don't want to touch the wick. I don't want to wreck my LED, but I'm going to go around and put a couple blobs of glue mindful of where that is. And see if I can get it to stick. Just push down a little bit and hold it. I just want it to hug this flame on the LED. And it looks like it's going to stay. Good. So I didn't want to put too much because I didn't want to damage the LED flame. So we've got it covered in copper. It's a little bit bubbly. I don't mind that. You could try to make it straighter if you want. Now let's see. This is very plain, isn't it? But it does have a very pretty feel to it. And let's see what it looks like lit up. That's pretty. But I want a little more, so I'm going to add some charms to it. I have these really pretty bracelet charms. If you hook enough of these together, in fact, you could hook up like a bracelet and go all the way around your candle. I wanted to go a little more simple. And an example of that is right here. Just very, very simple decoration. Beautiful when it's lit up. This one here, that's probably my favorite. I added a little teardrop gem to that, and I like the length, and I love the way the copper just sits there and shines against the color of the wax. So pretty. So I've got my candle ready to go, and I have before used just one singular snowflake. I thought that was so pretty. But I think I'm going to shake it up a little bit here and use several of these snowflakes to go around the candle. I've got enough of them that I think I can get around it. So I'm going to use 6 of these. These are actual pieces that you could string together to make a bracelet. And so I'm going to string them together to go around this candle. This is going to look pretty from any angle. What I need is a stretchy bead cord. And this stuff is hard to see, but we will make do here. I'm going to go at least double the length because I can cut off any excess. Okay. And what we do is very simple. We go through one side. See how I said about it being hard to see. Okay. Now I'm going to keep going down the line. We've got one side on and go to the next one. Got them all strung. I'm going to come back through. See how this is all still hooked? And this is my way of keeping them on the line here. All right, so we have them all strung. I'm going to try to even out and pulling on this end here. Okay, so this is what we have. Pull this one closer. And what I'm going to do now, that's pretty, isn't it? That would make a very lovely bracelet. Use the candle. And I want to be mindful of, there's the flame. So I don't want to put it on the side. I want to put it on the front. What's the side I like better? That side I like better. So I'm going to take my snowflakes and I'm going to come around. It doesn't meet quite all the way, but that's okay with me. And then I'm just going to simply tie the back. Now this is tricky too because it's hard to see this stuff. Get a little tighter and add a few more knots. I need somebody's finger like wrapping a package. That's a couple of knots. I think I'm going to go a few more, but I want to see how it sits on the candle. Nice. And what's nice about this too is you aren't really harming the candle, so we get past the season, I could take these off and decorate my candle in a different way. I think that's tight enough. I think it looks nice, so I'm going to snip off this excess. And there we have one. That's really pretty. And I wanted to show you one more with just a little less snowflake on it. Put you over there. And I'm going to use, this is a real candle, not LED, which would mean you wouldn't burn it. This is strictly for looks. But I so like the looks of a simpler design. So here again, look for that donut hole spot. In the back is where they shoved all the fabric. So I'm going to gently pull that out. Sometimes I push my finger through to get it out of there. They're not supposed to come apart. You're supposed to scrub your pots and pans. Okay, turn it inside out. You have that donut hole with all this excess. Now this time I'm going to leave the excess just to see what happens. I'm going to fit this over the wick. This is strictly for decoration. We're not going to burn this one, but I want the pretty. I want the looks, the ambiance of the copper. It's so pretty. And roll it down the candle. And that's simple and pretty. Just so pretty. Now what we can do here is we can either roll this up and let it be a part of the decor there. See how that adds like a little cap, which I think is really pretty too. There's so many different little ways you can play with this copper. If there's strings you don't want to use, you can just snip them off. So I'm bringing it just to the level of the top of the candle. I still don't want to burn it, even though it could be tempting, because this stuff is not conducive for burning. Okay, now that alone could be done, or add a very simple finish to it, and that would be one. I want a smaller little snowflake. And what I'm going to add to it, I'm looking for the nicest spot here. I like the copper, the way it fits best. Right in there. Oh my gosh, the copper is so glowy, pretty. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with this, only I'm going to add a little teardrop to it. And this has so many colors in it that you could go with a yellow or a pink. But I liked this blue. I thought that was a really pretty complement. So what I'm going to do is attach this blue one to this snowflake. I'm going to take the finding off of that. So I'm going to work strictly with the charm. Now this piece here, we're going to string it as we did before to go around the candle. And you want to be mindful of how the snowflake is situated. So we come through this side. These strands will disappear, as you can see. They'll just disappear. But I wanted to add the little teardrop charm. So I'm going to take this little charm. It's got a piece of metal on it that was actually used to hook it to the board it came on. I bought, for I think a couple dollars, I bought 12 of these little charms. It came on a piece of paper display. And I'm actually going to use that little piece to wire this charm to that snowflake. I'm going to spread it out a little bit. Thing I want to make sure is that it's facing the same direction. And I'm just going to lay it over the top the way the snowflake's shaped. There's a little edge there. There's two little points on the top, and one on the top, one on the bottom. Okay, I got it there. And I'm going to give it a couple twists, and I'm pulling this stuff out again. I'm going to twist that metal. There, we got it. See? Takes a little bit of tenacity. And what I'm trying to do is make that hang. Ta-da! Just a tiny little thing that's going to add to. I just pulled that out. We'll just push it back through and quickly get it on the candle. And I want the piece of that metal, I'm going to push it back behind the charm, so you don't see it. I'm just doing that with my fingernails. The metal is really nice and bendy. There we have it. Which part of this candle do I like the best? Oh yeah, that's going to look pretty. It's so simple and so pretty. So I'm going to wrestle with this stuff again. I like it because it's strong enough to hold, but invisible enough to disappear. I got to put a few more knots in there. And you want to be careful because you don't want to snap it. So I'm just going to keep going with trying to get the knots in there. And it seems to be staying, and I'm going to leave it alone and clip off the excess. Oh my goodness, but see, are you going to stay? This is a nice project because you can reuse your candles again. You aren't committing them to be stuck in copper the rest of your life, but oh, isn't that pretty? What do you think? I like it. Let me show you a few others I did. The ones with the LED are the best. Now there's the one we just made. All around. I want to see these, what they look like in the dark. Here's one I did traditional. This one I thought was lovely, but this is actual wax. It's got glitter in it, so it's pretty. I would not burn it, but that is really, really pretty. And then this one here too. This is LED, so this can be burned. I cut beneath the seam on the top and it rolls down. So I use that to my advantage to add some more copper and some beads and a little heart. That's probably my favorite one. That's really, really pretty. And then this one. Okay, this is trial and error. I just lined these donuts up to the tippy top, and isn't that an interesting texture? This is a real candle, real wick. Do not burn. These guys don't like to be burned. And then another LED here. This one here, simple. Here again, little glue at the top. Let it fall to the bottom. And you have some beautiful, simple copper cozy candles. So if you like what you've seen here today, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to ring the bell so that you know when another episode of Tweaks with Tweek is coming along. Until then, do some dishes, you get some ideas, and you end up with something lovely. See you again.